I'm going to be showing you how to improve your shotgun aim in Fortnite, and we're starting right now. So the first tip to improve shotgun aim is to use left stick aiming. Now that might sound a bit weird to a lot of people, but it's less complicated than you think. Left stick aiming is literally using your left analog stick to aim instead of your right one, but obviously you're meant to use a combination of both your left stick and your right stick. Here's an example right now. So there's the bot, and I'm going to try and get my target right on there from this angle here. Instead of using my right analog stick, which is this one, I'm going to use my left one to just adjust it a bit, and now we could just aim and then you could get a direct shot. If I just keep using my right one, then I might miss a bit. But if you use both your left and your right, you can adjust a tiny bit from both. So your thumbs are basically working 50-50 instead of just making one thumb work 100%, because obviously that's going to be a bit harder. Make both of them work 50-50 by using both left stick and right stick aiming. So here's an example of left stick and right stick aim used in combination with each other. So here's my crosshair, and I need to try and get it right onto the bot. So what I'll do is use my left stick to aim it a bit this way, and then use my right stick to just aim a bit down. Then you can just zoom in, and then you got a direct shot. So obviously you can go a bit left and then zoom in. You could just do that quicker. You should start using left stick aiming in all your weapon types, not just shotgun aim. It's most useful with shotguns and ARs in my opinion, but you can also use it with SMGs, snipers, and every other gun. So left stick aiming is really useful, and I really recommend that you implement it into your game. The second tip is to keep your crosshair as controlled as possible, and try and keep your crosshair at the middle of the screen. The reason behind this is that if you have your crosshair right in the middle of the screen, you can hit headshots really quickly. So if you walk up to an opponent, you could just straight away aim and then shoot. Since your crosshair should be right on their head, you should easily be able to get a headshot. And another thing with this tip, just try and keep your crosshair as controlled as possible. The less flick shots you do, the better, because flick shots tend to do less damage generally. And all your shotgun pellets hits the opponent. So if I try and aim this way, it will still shoot him, but it will do a bit less damage. If I aim a bit closer to the middle, look, 171. See that difference? Look, 27. If I go a bit left, it'll do a bit more, and if I go right in the middle, it'll do the most. So the more controlled you keep it, the more damage you will tend to do. And try and keep your crosshair in the middle of your screen so that you can get headshots easily, and you might be able to hit one pumps. So here's an example of a flick shot. So say my crosshair is right here. Instead of slowly putting it right here and then aiming and shooting, this is what a flick shot would be. By doing flick shots, you obviously miss more, but you also do less damage generally. At first, this may be really hard to do, but as you get used to it, you'll be able to do it much more easily. If you want to learn the quickest way to master this technique, you should be playing box fights on creative. Just go into a creative field lobby, or just go into a creative private match with your friends and just play box fights and try and use this technique the whole time. As you use the technique more and more, you'll start getting used to it, and you'll see a big improvement in your aim. The third tip is not to rush your shot, and also ADS when you can, which means obviously to zoom in with your gun. The reason for ADSing, it allows you to do way more damage than usual. By ADSing, it allows you to get all your pellets on your opponent, which allows you to do way more damage. So as you can see, when you zoom in, your crosshair actually gets smaller, so it actually makes it easier to get all your pellets right onto your opponent. But when I don't aim, you can see that my crosshair gets a bit bigger. ADSing also allows you to get more one pumps, so not just high damage shots, but you can also sometimes instantly kill your opponent, especially if you get close enough. So if you go right close to them and then shoot them, you could do way more damage. So this tip can also be combined with just being close to your opponent. The closer you are to your opponent, the more damage you're going to do generally with your shotgun. So overall, ADSing allows you to be more accurate with your shots. The next tip is to always track your opponent even when you're not aiming at them. So say the opponent is all the way on the other side, as you can see the bot. When you're going to make an edit play on them, don't make an edit play like over here, because if you do, they're just going to shoot you, as you can see, and then you're just going to get damaged. So say your opponent's on that side, you don't want to make an edit play where you just go into this side, because if you do, you're just going to miss the shot, or you're going to have to do a crazy flick shot, which is going to make you end up missing most likely. When you're making an edit play on them, you don't want to make a crazy edit play. You want to make a good edit play where it will allow you to get a direct shot on the opponent. So for example, you could do a top right corner edit, and then maybe shoot them, and then go this way. So make sure you always know where your opponent is, even when you're not shooting at them. So say your opponent's that way and you're this way, you might not expect them shooting at you, and then when you're going to turn for a shot, you're going to obviously miss, because you're going to have to do another flick shot, which you don't want to do. Obviously you want to try and reduce the amount of flick shots you do. Only do flick shots when needed. Never do flick shots on purpose, okay? Most of the time, I'm saying 99% of the time, try not to do flick shots. 1% of the time you could do flick shots if you want, because sometimes flick shots can actually be useful, but most of the time they are kind of useless because they end up making you miss. So always track your opponent opponent even when you're not shooting at them, and make sure you make smart edit plays. The next tip to improve your shotgun aim is to find your perfect sensitivity. The reason for this is if you're playing on sensitivity way too high for you, you'll end up missing all your shots. You'll be like this, which will result in you missing many shots. If your sensitivity is too high for you to control, every single shot will feel like a flick shot. So you'll be like this, and then you go one, and then you'll be missing way more. So it's going to be really annoying. So by finding the perfect sensitivity for yourself, you'll be able to hit more of your shots, which will improve your shotgun aim. And by playing on very low sensitivities, when an opponent goes right behind you, it'll be hard to turn around and then shoot at them. So you want to play at a sensitivity that's perfect for you. Not too fast, not too slow. And if you find that perfect sensitivity, then your aim will be way better. But do note that you should play around with your sensitivities to find the perfect one for yourself. So pick a sensitivity that you feel like you'll be fine with, and then play with it for maybe 1 or 2 weeks. And after you get used to the sensitivity you are using, you'll then know if you need to increase or decrease your sensitivity. And after a couple of weeks, you should find the perfect sensitivity for yourself, which will then allow you to improve your shotgun aim. So just find the perfect sensitivity for yourself. Not too high, not too low. The final tip is like a bonus tip, which is to shoot your opponent, and as soon as you shoot them, what you want to do straight after is to build. So here's an example right now. Shoot and then build. So by doing this, you don't take any damage, but you do damage to your opponent. You could do this anytime. So say an opponent's right there, shoot and then build. So by doing this, you'll get shot by your opponent way less often than usual. I would really get in the habit of shooting and building straight after, because it really comes in handy when you don't want to take any damage or when you're really low on health. I would really recommend that you learn this technique since it's so simple to do, but it's really effective. It literally keeps you alive in games for much longer than usual. And after you practice it for a while, you'll get really used to just shooting and building constantly. Because I always use this technique, I've gotten really used to it. So every time I shoot, I tend to build straight away. Even if I miss, I still build, because if you miss, then they can still shoot at you. So you want to protect yourself straight after you shot. So you want to quickly shoot and then build. So just practice and learn this technique, and you'll be dying in games way less often than usual. But generally, still try not to rush your shot, because you still want to get that high damage shot on your opponent. And to watch more funny Fortnite videos, Fortnite tip videos, and all types of other Fortnite related stuff, start now by hitting the round subscribe icon so you don't miss anything. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.